Hey, and welcome back to your English class. Today we're learning the 4-syllable words that start with letter E, part 1. This first word is economic. It also has to do with economist or economy. Economic, economist, economy. These things have to do with being cost effective, which is meaning within your budget, not too expensive, something within reach that you can pay that gives you a bang for your buck, in other words. So if something is economic, maybe it's on sale. Most likely the usual value of the type of object, like a mattress, for example, is quite expensive, but you found a really cheap, good quality one, and so it's economic. But it could also be something that's economic, just another fancy word meaning cheap. So maybe it's not the best quality mattress, it's just a bottom line basic one, and so that's why it's economic as well. Economist is somebody who studies finance and wealth. So this is a person. He's an economist. She's an economist. And then economy is all about money and wealth again. So the economy of Peru is not doing so great at the moment. They need more trade, more investments, for example. That's a great economy. We should do something to better our economy. And then we have ecology, which is a branch of biology. I study biology. I'm an ecologist. I study ecology. Ecology. Okay, then we have elaborate. This is another way to say explain or give more details. Can you elaborate? Why don't you elaborate on that topic? He needed to elaborate more so that I could understand him. Elaborate means go into more details, more information. So for example, I'm going to elaborate right now. This word is used in a little bit more, I would say, intermediate conversations, which meaning that somebody who has basic English probably doesn't know what it means. And you can use more descriptive words when using this word, not just I like dogs. Maybe I like fuzzy dogs who wag their tails all day and they have speckled fur. Something like that would be a bit better to use elaborate, or even more complicated still. She elaborated on how her hat was feeling. It was a little bit tight around the ears. The elastic was loose around her chin, and the material was felt that they got from a rabbit the other day. She was elaborating on the fact that the rabbit was white and had red eyes. See, now this is a lot of detail. If you'd like to keep learning how to speak American English with me, click the link in the description of this video. There are 60 free classes for you of all levels of English, focusing on pronunciation to let you speak English in just 6 months. And if you already know that you want to learn English with me and want to see the rest of this English course, go ahead, click the link in the description and send me a message saying you're interested in the private school. Electoral or electorate. This is to do with the elections, voting voters. So when you're choosing a president or representatives of the government, different sections, different towns, provinces or states, and then the whole country, there are elections. If we pair electoral with the word system, then we can talk about the way the voting works. The electoral system has a few flaws. It takes too long to count the votes. Now, electorate means a bunch of people who can vote, who are entitled to vote. The electorate voted to the right side this time. The electorates seem pretty angry. Equality. Equality means fairness, and it also means this symbol in mathematics. So if we have equality between, the most common one you're going to hear is genders, that means that the girl and the boy in society have the same role, the same function, and the same value. Now, that's not always true, depending on the place, the society, blah, blah. But it just means having the same, being equal. So we need equality between students. Equality is a hard thing to come by. Nothing is exactly equal. These are just opinions. Equality. And then electrician is somebody who works with electricity. So if your wiring in your house isn't functioning, you have to call an electrician. Is the electrician coming? Can they come? Do you have an electrician? That's the job of the person who deals with the electricity. Then electronic is just anything that has wiring and possibly batteries that functions with electricity. So a telephone, or in these days just a phone, is electronic. There are even some electronic cars now. Electronic. Eliminate. Eliminate is to remove or kill. So if someone says we have to eliminate the president, that means to kill the president, something we see in a lot of action movies. then we need to eliminate the problem. Might be, again, could be a person is the problem, so kill them, or remove, get rid of it. Goodbye, it doesn't exist anymore. Take it away. Elimination is like deletion, is like erasing with an eraser. That is eliminate. We should eliminate turkey from the menu. Nobody likes it. Eliminate or delete would be the other word. Anyway, emergency. Emergency is a crisis, that something bad is happening and you need to act fast to be able to resolve the situation. The emergency room is a room in the hospital where people go that they don't have any appointments. It's just something crazy happened and now they need help, like right now. An emergency contact is often asked for in different places like schools or planes or jobs, and that's the person that people should call if something happens to you in, again, an emergency, probably a medical issue. Emergency. Then we have emotional. That's a feeling. If somebody is very emotional, maybe that means they have a lot of feelings like sadness, happiness, anger all at once, or maybe they're just perpetually sad, often sad. An emotional person is one that is crying very often about a lot of things. We also call them crybabies. That's emotional. Then we have equestrian. This is a horseman or woman and to do with horse riding. So we're at an equestrian retreat, means we're at a retreat or like a sanctuary, a place that we have an event kind of for a weekend, maybe a farm, where we do all things to do with horses. Horse riding, taking care of horses, those things. There's an equestrian store down the road, means that they have a bunch of supplies for taking care of horses again and horse riding. Those are equestrian things, so think horses. Okay, then we have equivalent. Equivalent is equal to, again, with equality, equivalent. Same idea. The blue cheese is equivalent to the red cheese in how much it weighs. So it's the same weight. The amount of money you make is equivalent to the amount of time that you're working. Equivalent means equal to. Okay, eternity means forever or for all time or sometimes the afterlife. We're going to be here for eternity. We're not going to be here for eternity. We're here for eternity means forever, never dying. And we're not here for eternity means we will die at some point. Eternity. Ethereal. This means heavenly, to do with the heavens, God, angels. It's usually used with makeup or like a feeling or clothing or a vibe, some kind of artistic thing. It's a very ethereal looking mask. An ethereal costume, an ethereal movie, an ethereal restaurant. Maybe the person is very angelic, very ethereal, very soft, delicate looking too. Ethereal. Then we have evaluate, is to form an idea of the value. Can you evaluate this situation to come up with an idea about it? Like, let's analyze it, look at it, and decide, okay, is it worth it? Is it not? Pros, cons. Really understand what it is. Evaluate the problem, the situation, the area, evaluate. Then we have evangelism. This is preaching of the gospel. So there's evangelical churches. Evangelists are people too. And so they focus on sharing the word of God. To evangelize would be the verb. She evangelized to me this morning. She's an evangelist. We go to the evangelical church. We're evangelists. That to do with the religion. Okay, and then we have eventual, which is ultimate, an eventual goal. There's an ultimate goal. There is a final goal. Eventual doesn't mean exactly the end. It just means a long time, and then you'll get to the end. Like maybe the results are not right now today, but eventually there is an eventual end. Maybe in a month, 2 months, few days. Eventual usually feels like a long time. So not exactly saying how long, but that you feel that it takes eternity or forever. Then we have ecosystem, and this is to do with everything that's going on. So like the birds, the insects, the animals, the people, the emissions of gasoline, all that affects the ecosystem. Now the natural ecosystem is just everything that you'd find in a forest. Now if humans go into there and put some extra stuff, then they have tainted the ecosystem or shifted or changed it. It's not natural anymore, but it will eventually adapt. That's the ecosystem. You've tampered with the ecosystem would be an example, like you've tweaked it, changed it, done something to it, or that's a really nice ecosystem. It flows very well. Okay, then we have education, educator, or educated. Education is what we're having right now when we learn things about learning. You have a good education, you have a bad education, would be some very common things to hear. Educator is me, a teacher or a professor. So he's a really good educator. I don't have an educator. Are they an educator? And then educated is what happens when you've already learned. So maybe when you graduate, a school, then you would say, oh, I'm well educated, or I've been educated, or I need to be educated if you're not done yet. This is when it already happened. And that's all the words. So let's go over it again. Economic, economist, economy, ecology, elaborate, electoral, electorate, equality, electrician, electronic, eliminate, emergency, emotional, equestrian, equivalent, eternity, ethereal, evaluate, evangelism, eventual, ecosystem, education, educator, educated. Now I'm going to put a warning that you should probably already know unless you've not been listening. Everything that I'm teaching you in all of these classes are extremely important. So for you to go and pick which words you want to learn and which words you do not want to learn is very detrimental to this entire education system here. You need to learn everything because at some point it will come up because your life is now in English. So I need you to really memorize all of it. Maybe if you're not so much into politics, you might not hear electoral much, but every country still has politics, so you probably will. The thing I would say though is if you do know some of these really well, backwards, forwards, use them all the time, or know how to use them and understand them, maybe don't put so much time into them unless you're having doubts and not sure about it. I would pay attention more urgently, in an emergency case, more to the ones that you really feel uncomfortable with and really don't understand too much. And if you're not sure about which those would be, then make examples with all of them, practice all of them, pronounce all of them for a while, a few days, and then see how you feel. Anyway, that's all for me in this class, and I will see you in the next English class. Bye for now.